silliest reason that you got punished for? In kindergarten, everything felt like it was designed to be serious business, even the simplest of tasks. One morning, we were handed coloring sheets. The sheet had a picture of an apple, complete with a stem and a leaf. The teacher said we were supposed to color the apple red. That seemed simple enough. An apple is red, right? I sat down at my small desk, crayons scattered in front of me. Red, green, brown, all the basics. I picked up the red crayon first and carefully filled in the body of the apple, staying inside the lines the best I could. Next came the stem. I grabbed the brown crayon and shaded it in, then reached for the green one and colored the leaf. I looked at my work and felt satisfied. It looked like a proper apple. Red fruit, brown stem, green leaf, perfect. It wasn't long before the teacher started walking around the room, looking at everyone's work. She paused at my desk and her expression shifted from neutral to a frown. "Why did you color it like that?" she asked, voice sharp for a kindergarten classroom. "I colored it like an apple looks," I said. "Red fruit, brown stem, green leaf," I shrugged. It seemed obvious. "You're not following instructions," she said. "The whole apple is supposed to be red, every part. Stem, leaf, everything." I blinked. "But apples don't look like that." Her frown deepened. "I don't care. Instructions are instructions." Before I could argue further, she told me to go to the hall. I gathered my crayons slowly, bewildered, and walked to the small hallway outside the classroom, where other kids were sometimes sent for misbehavior. I sat on the floor with my back against the wall, trying to process what had just happened. Coloring the apple the way it actually looked, what I thought was obvious, was now considered wrong. From the hall, I could hear the hum of the classroom, the laughter and chatter of the other kids, and the sound of crayons scratching against paper. I felt isolated and a little indignant. Why would they want me to color the stem and leaf red? That made no sense. A red leaf and stem would make the apple look like something from a cartoon gone wrong. After a few minutes, another teacher came by to check on me, probably because it was a short hallway and kindergarten teachers didn't let kids sit alone for too long. She asked what I had done, and I explained calmly, detailing how I had followed the natural colors of the apple. She raised her eyebrows and shook her head, but didn't intervene. It was clear that in this system, logic didn't matter. Instructions mattered. I stayed in the hall for the rest of the activity, watching other kids occasionally glance over at me, some smirking, some looking confused, and some just coloring away without a care. I thought about my apple, perfectly shaded, and felt a mix of frustration and pride. I knew I was right. Later that day, during free play, a couple of classmates came over to see my punishment. They asked what I had done, and I explained, still incredulous that something so trivial could cause a teacher to send me out of class. They laughed and nodded, clearly entertained by the absurdity of the situation. That night, I told my parents what had happened. They listened quietly as I described the coloring sheet, the apple, the stem, the leaf, and how I had ended up sitting in the hall. My mother shook her head and chuckled softly. "Well, you were following instructions," she said. "Just maybe not the instructions the teacher wanted." I went to bed feeling a little vindicated, but also a bit confused. How could something so simple, coloring an apple realistically, be seen as disobedience? It didn't make sense, but I also realized that sometimes following the rules wasn't the same as doing what seemed right. Years later, I still think about that kindergarten coloring sheet every time I see an apple. Red fruit, brown stem, green leaf. The image is burned into my memory as the time I got sent to the hall for being accurate. To this day, I maintain that I was right. The teacher wanted conformity, not correctness. And for one brief, frustrating moment in my childhood, logic lost to arbitrary rules. Even now, I remember sitting in that hall, crayons in hand, a perfectly colored apple in front of me, and the bewilderment of being punished for simply seeing the world the way it actually was. It was silly, absurd, and completely unforgettable. That